Hey everybody, it's Jazz again, this time for Module 3 as a plane circles overhead. Please forgive the noise. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Um, for Module 3, we'll be transitioning from regular journal entries, which we tried in Module 2, to adjusting journal entries. And we'll also have closing journal entries, which will close the accounting cycle in Module 4, right? So a lot of exciting stuff coming. Um, I'm going to skip the recap this time and focus more on the assignment, which will be due in week 6. And this is the assignment or the assessment which students typically find to be the most difficult, but it's only worth 10%, so it's not really worth stressing over. You want to give it your best shot, and it might be helpful to actually start this sooner rather than later. There will be some things in the way which you have to kind of navigate around because you haven't covered them yet. But definitely, any regular journal entries which you understand the full components of, you can go ahead and do those, right? And there'll be some T accounts as well and the financial statement. So you can kind of play around with that early on. It's a good week to start and get a little bit of understanding. So, going really quickly here, the first part of this is simply starting up a business, right? And we have some transactions. Since it's a new business, everything is starting from zero. So, that kind of helps you. And basically, what you want to do is you want to look at regular journal entries. For example, A is a very simple regular journal entry, right? You'll see some things in B which you're not familiar with, the sale discount, purchase discount kind of deal going on there. But that will come up in Module 5, so don't get too worried about that. As you go, you'll see some depreciation. You're going to cover that in Module 3 here. So, yeah, you can kind of get a start on that. And then we have part 2, which calls for adjusting and closing entries, right? So adjusting entries you're gonna learn very soon. Closing entries are very repetitive, right? So there won't be too many adjusting entries. There'll be more closing entries. But I've given you a hint here. It might be helpful to prepare some T accounts first, especially for closing entry. You'll get an idea of just how much you have to close, right? For lack of a better word. Um, Step 3, just make those T accounts. So you're going to kind of set up a general ledger. You're going to make all the T accounts you need and update them, right? And finally, after you've done all that, income statement and balance sheet 4 and 5, they're pretty straightforward. Some of my students also like to do a trial balance, right? You can definitely do that, but it's not required. Basically, what you need to know is what goes on the balance sheet, what goes on the income statement, and list the accounts out the correct way. Like I said, this is a little bit tricky. It's hard to get it completely right, but don't worry so much if your balance sheet is not balancing or you feel like something is off. It's very easy to get 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. It's quite difficult to actually get 10 out of 10, right? So, um, while I appreciate your commitment to perfection, it's really not overly necessary. You can definitely take it a little bit easier, play around with it, get to know the accounting cycle. There's not really a course where you strive for perfection. It's a chance for you to just get to know the accounting system and build on it. So, yeah, I'll stop there. Um, a reminder that we do have office hours, right? You can look at the Zoom schedule for the exact dates. And always my door is open, figuratively open. We can have an online meeting and discuss things if you prefer to do that one on one. So hang in there. We're coming up to a busier time in the course. Week 6 will be a busier one. So you can kind of get started with this assignment. And in the next video, I will talk a little bit more about the other major assignment, which is the um, midterm essay.